Connectors, what's up? DK here. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, today I want to talk a little bit about your board of directors in general, policies for board of directors, and most importantly, moo-lah. Let's do this. Now, I know you're thinking already. You're saying, DK, man, this is one of those things that drives me nuts. It is a huge issue with my nonprofit, trying to get my board members more into the fundraising apparatus. How can I do that? Well, you're going to have amazing information for me. Well, see, here's the truth of it. This is a recurring and long-standing problem of the nonprofit sector. I'd love to tell you there is a magic elixir that you can just give and put in the coffee and the Diet Cokes and the waters within your board meetings, and like that, you'd have amazing board members who are not only great ambassadors, but are fundraising machines, but nope. However, there is a way, a smart way, that you can get your board members a little bit more involved, a little bit more activated, passionate, and ready to go when it comes to fundraising. And the first thing is be honest and upfront with them. Be honest and upfront with the fact that fundraising has got to be a front and center issue for this board to make sure our organization can run. This sounds super easy, and I sound like maybe I'm trying to be flippant about this. I am not. But there is a huge problem in our sector where the real elephant in the room, the real conversation is not being had. And we're going through this dance about fundraising, and you know what you get all the time. I'd love to help more, but my network is tapped out. You know how it is, you can't get blood from a stone. I'm on so many boards, I just don't know what to... Let me stop you right there. Let's stipulate a few things. First, everybody is asking everyone for money. There is no network anywhere that is untapped. People are being asked to support organizations in a myriad of ways. Whether you are high up on the economic level or just out of college, just came into an organization, you are also being asked for money. The fact that everybody's network is being asked and everybody is being tapped out of their network, we're all being asked and we're all supported. 2, this has got to be a function of the board, and if a person is uninterested or unwilling to fundraise for you, you need to have a serious conversation with that board member to ask if it makes sense for them to be on the board. This is a difficult thing to say, especially if you have someone who you feel is an influential person or a strong person within your community, but fundraising is just that important. You need an all hands on deck kind of situation. Now, if this is the only function of your board of directors to fundraise, that also is a problem. They have an oversight and they have a fiduciary responsibility for things other than fundraising. But the board of directors historically, as a functioning body, has a responsibility in this that goes far beyond what I think people realize. The idea of the social contract in the nonprofit sector is that the board of directors represents the larger community. And the larger community is the deal that we have as a nonprofit, that we support the good of the order, the good of the community, and in trade for that, we get some tax breaks and some tax supports, things like that for our donors and our supporters. And that is the social contract that we work within our communities. The board represents a representative of each of the community members. So they are kind of like our Congresses. We elect people to represent us in a representative democracy. Our board of directors represents the greater community and looks after the best interest of the organization and hopefully the best interest of the community. So what does all that mean? What that means is that as they're looking out the good of the order, they need to realize that part of the job of being on a board of directors is the fundraising, the fiduciary responsibility to fiscal policies that make sense, fiscal health of the organization, the long-term thinking. So not just in the months and quarter and year thinking, but thinking further out, far strategic, 3, 5, 10 years. The longevity and legacy of an organization begins and ends with their board and how that work in that interplay happens between the executive director and staff, the board of directors, volunteers, and the community writ large. So the board has much more to do than just fundraising. But if your board's not fundraising, if your board is spending more time giving you suggestions, you know what you should do? You know who you should call? You know it would be a great company to talk to. If your board is just giving you armchair quarterback fundraising tips and tricks, You need to have a serious conversation with them. A serious come-to-Jesus moment where you sit down with everybody and you say, guys, the collective good of this organization will only work if we are all in this together. Think of it this way. Your organization is a boat. It's a rowboat. Everybody who is a board of directors gets a seat, which is nice, but they also get an oar. The strategic thinking of a board gives us our current position, gives us where we need to go. It's off in the distance. It's that way. We need to go that way. And the direction is kind of cool. But how does this boat move? Well, that's where the oars come in. Everybody needs to be paddling. Everybody needs to be paddling in the same direction. Everybody needs to be paddling at about the same pace. If we do those things, we might have a successful boat ride here. But if some of your board members are spending more time looking at the charts, looking at navigation, looking at the side of the boat, fishing off the side of the boat, and not even know where their oars are, it's going to be tough sledding. Tough sledding. Well, I guess it wouldn't be sledding, it'd be tough paddling, but you know what I mean. The truth of the matter is the board of directors need to all be rowing in the same direction, the same pace, same speed, everything needs to be in unison, and that goes for sure for the fundraising part. So here's some suggestions for you. Maybe you should think about doing a couple of these. 1, the development committee is not going to stand alone surrogate for the board. Too often we have development committees and then we put a few board members on that, and then the expectation is, well, they'll do the fundraising. The development committee is a good idea, but it cannot be a replacement for the larger board's fundraising. So be very careful when you're doing your development committee that is crystal clear. And your board committee chair should be very open and honest within the board, being another ambassador and surrogate to you as the founder executive director, representing the staff and the board on a fundraising apparatus, to be able to say within board meetings, guys, we all have to be on this. This is not just falling at the feet of the development committee. Another idea, give, get, arrange policies. I am so for these things. Too often, though, they're always thought of as sort of scoreboard watching, where you have a list and everybody has, here's how much money each and every board member made, and you call out people who haven't raised money. I do not mean that at all. However, having that list internally, having a good gauge as to where everybody is in terms of give, get, and arrange, is very helpful for the board to self-police, to look at each other and say, what are we all doing? How are we all collectively making a difference? And I say those 3 intentionally because very often I work with organizations when I'm first introduced and getting to know them in the auditing stage and what have you, and they always tell me give, get. Give, get. We have a give, get policy. But that third one, the arrange one, is probably the most important, and honestly what is mostly done by board members, especially board members who are on multiple boards. Arrange is a big one. Look, if you have a board member who can just give you money out of a checkbook, right on, that's a great one. And if you have a board member who has that amount of energy and passion and purpose where they get up and say, I'm going to go get you this amount of money, and they do all the work and bring in the money and deliver it to the organization, double good on you. But most of the time, board members can help you in an entree, help you getting into a meeting, getting to a conversation, introducing you at an event to a brand new potential donor. Those kind of arrangements are super important to build our donor list, to build our friend raising list, to build our ability to network and connect to new markets and new people within our community. That arrangement that board member has done is well beyond the importance of the dollars that maybe would come in the immediate, because that person is now building a connective tissue to a person, an entity, company that could be long-standing. So arrangement is a huge part. So make sure you have a give, get, arrange that's realistic, that's set with good goals, and that also is something that is just used as markers. They're not used to billboards. They're not announced at the board meeting. There's no kind of thing like that, unless you want to do something fun and the board's cool with this and you do a leaderboard or some other thing that's sort of incentivizing the work that you do. But this is mostly internal documentation, just to give a good idea of where everybody is. Oh, and one more. Thank your board. Thank them for the entrees. Give them kudos. Give them promotion. Shout outs to them. We have social media. We have things just like this, that we have all these different apparatus, all these different opportunities to thank, to cherish the board members and what they do and how hard they work. We often talk about, in the work that I do, we often talk about thanking our donors, thanking our volunteers. The greatest thing in the world, you could say, the 2 greatest words of all time are thank you. We should do that with our board. Let them know the impact that they're making. Let them know and let everyone know how appreciative you are of the work they do. You'll be amazed that a simple thank you, whether that is a face-to-face, whether that's on social media, or hey, let me be so bold as to do a thank you card. This could be the greatest thing in the world that you do to members of your community, and particularly members of your board. Giving them a thank you note and just say, hey, we appreciate so much the things that you're doing. It's a win. It's an amazing win, and it helps every single time to let that board member know that the work you're putting in is appreciated and that you will honor and cherish what comes from that. You will be a good keeper of that information, whether that's a person's contact, a check that comes in from a company. You're going to keep and hold that data, that information to your heart. Well, thank you. Oh, and one last thing, probably the most obvious thing in the world. Make sure every board member gives every year. And honestly, just do this. Hey board, give me $1. If every board member gives $1, if every board member just gives $1, then you are able to represent that you have 100% board participation in your donor fundraising plan, in your strategic fund development plan, in your giving. You can say you have 100% board participation. And believe me, that goes a long way. Guys, I hope this helped a little bit, and I know there's so much more we can talk about this, but that'll be for other videos. So hey, I thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. My name is DK, and I'm the Connect the Dots Movement. We help nonprofits and social enterprise engines raise money, build boards, marketing, strategic planning, PR, special events, all those kind of things. And if you're interested in more information about Connect the Dots Movement, my email is right here. It's doug@connectthedotsmovement.org. Shoot me an email. I'll be happy to reply to you and maybe set up a time where we can talk a little bit about your goals, your organization, your mission, and most importantly, where you want to take it. Where is your why of your organization, and see if we can work together. We're also on social media, which if you're seeing this, you probably saw it on social media. We're right here at facebook.com/Connect the Dots Movement. Please like and share this video and send it out to your friends and family and fellow non-profiteers. I certainly appreciate it. And last but finally not least, we're also on Twitter. Twitter's a great thing for us. Here's a handle right here at WeConnectDots. I use Twitter a lot, and I also take questions from Twitter. Twitter. What I was trying to say there is I also take questions from Twitter, and those questions often turn into Q&As with DK. So I'm putting out a shout out right now because I am collecting Twitter questions for my next Q&A with DK, which is coming up very soon. So at WeConnectDots, shoot me off at Twitter. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for spending time with me on these videos. Share them out with your friends. Shoot me a question if you want for Q&A with DK. And also, if you have a topic you'd like me to cover in one of these this here video type things, please shoot that over me. I do appreciate it. My name's DK. I'm a Connect the Dots Movement, and you have just been connected. I'll see you around. Quitter. No quitters here. Non-profit power. No one else. This time it's take some time. One time of beauty. How we do and sing. And nobody can lie to sign on sign. But sing about